Bernard here. I hope you're all very well. Welcome to my film and TV channel, and we have a movie review today from Blumhouse. So you can guess there's some elements of horror to this one, a Blumhouse production, or Blumhouse, however you pronounce it, I'm not too sure. Yeah, it's a 15 rating, but it's a comedy horror today, actually, a comedy horror film, and it's entitled, just simply one word, Freaky. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications and all these vlogs are coming out. And please, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I'm just over 30 away as I'm recording this, and so we're getting there. I want to get to 500 by Christmas 2020, so looks on the cards, but all your support's fantastic. And please, if you're not yet subbed, if you could do so, that'd be fantastic. And please, and if you know anyone who might be interested in my channel, please point them in my direction. And of course, you look at the playlist, there's lots of stuff on there, drama reviews and quizzes, etc, etc. But also you'll notice some football vlogs as well on my football team, Manchester City. So if you do know, or you do know someone who might be interested in those vlogs as well, please point them in my direction. It'll be very much appreciated. Please, any comments you have to make on this film or anything else, doesn't have to be anything, say any comments you want to make, that's fantastic. It's great to know, it's great to have views, isn't it? But it's nice to know you're out there, and if you make a comment, that's fantastic. And if you can't make, I haven't got time for a comment, a thumbs up's always nice, isn't it? Fantastic. Right, Freaky. Here we go. I've got something unusual here now that I've not been doing very much of recently. Freaky is a 15 rating. 102 minutes. Runtime approximately 99 to 100 minutes. It had a budget, a $6 million budget, and we've got a box office figure for this. It was actually released in the US and other territories, and it's actually clawed back $9.2 million at the box office. So, all right, you got the promotions. Probably not into a profit yet when you take into account all the promotion of this thing. But yeah, it's nice to have a box office figure, isn't it? I've not had many of those lately with this COVID crisis. As I said, it's a comedy horror film by Blumhouse or Blumhouse Productions. And this was directed by Christopher Landon, who of course gave us Happy Death Day, didn't he, as well, which I quite liked. I quite liked Happy Death Day. I even liked the second one. Did he do that one? I'm not 100% sure. My memory's not good enough to know if he did or not. It's from a screenplay by Christopher Landon himself and Michael Kennedy. It stars Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton, Katie Finneran, Celeste O'Connor and Alan Ruck. And it is a twist on Freaky Friday, obviously, if you've watched Freaky Friday. And it was originally called Freaky Friday the 13th. So again, also a little twist on Friday the 13th as well. But so this was called Freaky. In production, when they were putting it all together, they just entitled it Freaky Friday the 13th. But they've just gone ahead with Freaky, which is fair enough. It's easy to remember, isn't it? What's it about? Well, it's 17-year-old Millie Kessler spends her days trying to survive high school and the cruel actions of the popular crowd. And they're very mean to her. I mean, very unfair to her, to be honest with you. She's a lovely young girl, very mean to her. But when she becomes the latest target of the Butcher, the town's infamous serial killer, her senior year becomes the least of her worries. When the Butcher's mystical dagger causes him and Millie to magically switch. Of course you do, switch bodies. The frightened teen learns she has just 24 hours to get her identity back before she looks like a middle-aged maniac forever. A middle-aged maniac looking like Vince Vaughn forever. What worse things could behold the poor girl? Anyway, is it any good? This is it. Is it any good? Yeah, well, Rotten Tomatoes. It's got an approval rating, a positivity rating of 84%. So if you know that, that's quite high. That's not bad going. Certainly for this sort of film, based on 177 reviews. So, I mean, there's plenty of people who've watched this. And it's 149 fresh and just 28 rotten. So there are rotten ones, but obviously well in the minority. And it's got an average rating of 6.9 out of 10, which is, again, very, very healthy. The website's critical consensus reads, an entertaining slasher with a gender-bending, body-swapping twist. This horror comedy juggles genres with freaky fun results. So they seem to like it, didn't they? And the Rotten Tomatoes audience liked it as well. But very northern then, didn't they? Tomato audience, an audience rating of 81%, which again is high, and it's a lot of reviews. That's almost 500 reviews. 486 scores have been left for that, so that's good as well. So it's all looking quite good at the moment. What about Metacritic? What's about the critics on there? Well, it's got a slightly lower weighted average of just 66 out of 100, but again, quite healthy. That's based on 34 critics, with 26 positive, 7 mixed, and just 1 negative. So again, proving popular. Just some of the scores. Movie Nation's Roger Moore, we listen to him a bit, don't we? 5 out of 10. He didn't like it. He wrote, director and co-writer Christopher Landon, the Happy Death Day films were his, and Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse wasn't my favourite, that one. Doesn't have enough jokes or amusingly murderous sight gags to make Freaky take flight. There you go. So he perhaps in the minority based on what we're seeing at the moment. The AV Club's Jesse Hassinger gave it 6.7 out of 10, so more in line with the average score there. This is a fast-paced, likeable and silly romp arriving at a time when the horror movie's memorability tends to correlate with its evocative doominess. Even when Freaky doesn't live up to its full potential, there's still something oddly satisfying about unmasking a slasher movie to reveal the 80s comedy lurking underneath. Nothing wrong with an 80s comedy. Consequence of Sound, Ryan Lawson of Consequence of Sound gave it 9.1 out of 10. Getting a bit near that 10 out of 10 mark, which we don't like, do we? But he says, it's a love letter to the genre without ever aping or mimicking it. With an incredible supporting cast and 2 engaging leads, it's an out-and-out blast that finds Landon inching closer and closer to slasher masters like Craven and Carpenter. Whew, that's pushing it a little bit. Just pushing it a little bit. I'm not giving too much away there, but I think Ryan Larson's I think I'll have a pint of whatever he was on when he wrote that. Right, Internet Movie Database. Here we go. Joe Public, you, me, everybody else. Well, 2,817 reviews, and I'm recording this. Scores anywhere between. It scores anywhere between 1 and 10, as it will do on the Internet Movie Database, and it's getting an average of 6.9 out of 10. So again, nearly 7, which isn't good, is it? Isn't bad. I mean, not good. Yeah, I mean, 6 is good, 6 is watchable, 6 is a good score, 6.9, nearly 7. Yeah, so the public seem to like it. Here's some of the comments. Not that great, not too bad. Yeah. Started bad but redeemed itself in the end. Okay. Predictable fun. Yep, I agree with that. Have a great time being scared. Perfect mix of funny and scary. I wasn't wholly infused with the funny, to be honest with you. Fun with an intentionally cheesy tongue-in-cheek cheekiness at times. Just cheesy and formulaic. There you go. That was a positive, by the way. I think he gave it 7 out of 10, so he did like it. Unique and refreshing slasher comedy. A blast. There you go. That's some of the positives. A couple of the boring ones. A couple of the negatives. Someone said boring. That's why I had boring in my mind. Someone else said made for Disney TV quality with 30 seconds of really adult material shoved in. Bit puzzled by that one. Someone else wrote very boring movie. Not just a boring movie, but a very boring movie. Someone else wrote disappointing. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the pluses and the minuses with that. What about Bernard's thoughts? What about my little thoughts on this on behalf of movie game nostalgia? I mean, there is a lot of love actually out there. There's none of those reviews I've just read out there actually mention it, but there's a lot of love out there for Vaughn's interpretation of being a teenage girl and his part in this. And I in all fairness, I don't think it was very good. I think he struggles there to play a teenage girl, which is fair enough. I'm not gonna quibble with him about that. But as opposed to Catherine Newton, who obviously plays a teenage girl who obviously ends up as a serial killer, I think she did superbly well, and I think she deserves more plaudits, I think, in this film than perhaps Vince Vaughn does. I think that the problem with Vince Vaughn is he didn't convince me either in the role of or Anthony Perkins' classic role. He didn't impress me in Psycho, Vince Vaughn. I couldn't picture him in that role. So similarly with this, where he's a serial killer, he just doesn't make a believable killer. To me, anyway. That's just. But as I said, most people said he did a good job, but he's just not convincing to me in that sort of role. And as I said, it's the Psycho TV, the Psycho one that was made recently. I'm not talking obviously an older one. I'm talking about the recent Psycho he starred in, Vince Vaughn, and this where he plays a serial killer. He doesn't convince me either way. And obviously, as I said, the Catherine Newton is far more convincing as an evil baddie serial killer perhaps than Vince Vaughn is. Not a lot of tension in this. I mean, in the horror, there's a few chases, running away, trying to get away, but there's no real build up of tension at all. But there are some good ways. I mean, what it's found is some good ways of killing people, which I like. I like the Final Destination films. I like clever little ways of killing people, and there's some little good ways of killing people in this, if that's how I can put it. And that's always a bonus in this sort of movie, if they come up with quite unusual and funny, not funny laugh out loud, but funny in a weird way, ways of killing people, and it manages to do that, fortunately. I think the humour is a bit of a struggle. There's one or two laughs as the body switching takes part, where they play with the new bodies, but this is a little bit tired, isn't it? Unless you've never ever seen a body swap film before. Obviously, we've seen this sort of thing all before, haven't we, over the years, you know, from the 70s, 80s, etc. 140 plus minutes, you know me and length of films, it is too long and it does struggle at times, and I got just a little bit bored at times as well, but you know, alright, dragged you back in at some stage, but it did struggle at times, and I think if they'd knocked another 20 minutes off on the cutting room floor, it would have been very, very beneficial to the film, to be honest with you. I think 140 minutes, 138 minutes running time, 100 minutes running time, it's just far too long. Yeah, 100 minutes, sorry, I did say 140 then. 100 minutes running time is just far, far too long. I can't help but think they it wasn't a bad budget, was it? 6 million. I can't help but think they had everything together there to make a really good comedy horror, but I don't think it quite got up there in the levels of something, you know, remarkably memorable. I didn't know, it's something I've watched and I won't particularly go back and watch it again, which is a great shame. And I did like Happy Death Day. I did actually managed to watch 1 and 2 a couple of times. I quite enjoyed it, and it doesn't quite hit the mark as the sort of heights as Happy Death Days did for me, which is a shame. I mean, it is better than last year's Black Christmas, but that doesn't say a lot, does it, unfortunately? But yeah, it is a lot better than that. But no, if you like Happy Death Day, I don't think it's quite as good. If you didn't like Happy Death Day, you might like this. I don't know, but say it doesn't quite hit that mark. Overall, yeah, I mean, I know I've come up with a few negatives there, but it's okay. I mean, it is I think one of the critics said before it was an okay watch. It was okay, but not brilliant, not very good. You know, it was just watchable basically. So you know what's going to come, don't you? Really. So for me, yeah, it is a watchable film. I won't put you off watching it, and a lot of people like it more than I do. So obviously you may do that, and I certainly won't put you off watching it because there's not many good comedy horrors, and I'm not saying it's a really good comedy horror, but it's an okay-ish comedy horror. I think my main problem is Vince Vaughn. So if you do like Vince Vaughn, you think he does a good job in it, I think you'll like it a lot more perhaps than I did. But I'm just not convinced with Mr. Vince Vaughn as a serial killer, unfortunately. So my little score for this one, it's got to be 6 out of 10 for the movie. What about the posters? Well, there's 2 or 3 posters, isn't there? I mean, I've been trying to flash them up at the side there while we've been going through this. And I do like the posters. I think the posters are very good. Certainly a couple of them are excellent. One of them's okay. I'm not going to say which in particular order, but I think all the posters are okay there. So I'm going to give the posters victory today. I'm going to score the posters 7 out of 10. I think I certainly wouldn't balk from having them on my wall behind me, and I think they're quite good posters. Given the fact it's a comedy horror, and there are some good posters for comedy horrors. I can think back to like the Friday the 13th films and stuff like that, and I remember the posters from. You can have a good poster, and the Scream, obviously the comedy sort of Scream sort of thing. You can have a good. You can make some good posters out of comedy horror, and I think they're very, very good posters. So I'm going to give them 7 out of 10, and the film only gets 6 out of 10. So victory for the posters today. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think if you get to watch this. And as I say, I think it all revolved around Vince Vaughn for me, and the fact I wasn't convinced, I think that sort of let it down a little bit. But there wasn't a great deal of. I was looking for a bit more humour perhaps, and a bit more tension, because it is a horror after all. All right, it's a comedy horror, but I don't think. Apart from the ways of killing people, I don't think the actual tension and the excitement sort of built, and the sheer horror and nerviness built in it, which is a shame. So, but it was okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please check my links on screen. If you follow or friend me on Facebook and Twitter, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And please, if you can, check out my website moviegamenostalgia.com for old rare DVDs. As you know, I used to have a video shop in the 90s and 2000s, so if you check that out for old and rare DVDs, movie posters from the 90s and 2000s, and some board games as well, that would be absolutely fantastic. Much appreciated. Thank you, moviegamenostalgia.com. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Whatever we're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your family. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again here on the Film and TV channel, or you hop over to my football channel, please stay safe, everyone. Bernard saying goodbye for now.